welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the T-832. It's the Tier 8 American Premium Heavy Tank. It's located on the north spawn of Lakeville and it's under the command of SlyMeerkat of SKIL, and alongside him in platoon is Omen Enraged of NRG, and he's in the Progetto 54. Game on! Well, the Terminator T-832 was a crossover tank with the Terminator series of films that Wargaming did a while back. You could actually get one of these from Battle Pass if you went through it and paid 3,500 gold, and you could buy it as well. It actually came with a Brothers in Arms crew, which actually made it quite effective. The T-32, which is based on, is one of a series of heavy tanks that the Americans worked on and built after the Second World War, including the T-30, the T-29 and the T-34. And, well, none of them got through the testing or accepted it into mass production. But this is actually quite an interesting tank, because this is the T-tank with a 105mm main gun. So it can pump out quite a lot of energy at 320 alpha. Standard pen with this gun is 218, and with the premium rounds that goes up to 252. Standard reload is 10.56 seconds, but you can see Sly's got it down to 8.64. Now we've got a bit of an interloper up here at the moment. You'll notice that to the right is an AMX 1357, and he's a light tank. He really should not be up here, and I say that in the best possible sense, because you see he doesn't have the armor to go face to face with the enemy. The first heavy tank that gets a shot into him, he could be absolutely wiped out, and so at this moment they're telling him to leave and go elsewhere, because he should be spotting elsewhere in the battlefield. And Sly's even given him a slight nudge there to say go away, but he just doesn't seem to take the hint. And so Sly shoves him out, and he does take damage, and now he's taking umbrage from that, and he started shooting at Sly instead of the enemy. But you see, the problem is he's actually a hindrance to the guys who are fighting here, like Sly and like Omen Enraged, and he's decided to go elsewhere. You see, if he stays here, he's going to block Sly from doing this, which is tearing the enemy apart bit by bit with that 105mm gun, and the fact that he's got 10 degrees of gun depression, which means he can work this ridgeline and hammer the enemy. Well, we can see there's a Yak Tiger down there, AMBT just the other side of the crest, got a Lurver, and there's an Object 705, I think I saw, was at 263, pumps around into the Gonzalo. In fact, there's a Tiger 2 down there as well now. In fact, a large number of the enemy are actually in the valley when they should be in the town, and I think they're going to realise that's a bit of a mistake. You don't fight the valley, you fight the town. Our guys are now going through the town and are probably going to find it very easy to come up behind these guys and shoot them in the ass. Okay, we've got Waffenträger down there, he pumps around in, gets a nice hit for 303, which is a low roll. There's the 705, there's the Yak Tiger, looking for a pen. He can't get the pen on the Yak Tiger. It's very difficult to get through the frontal armor on that guy unless you use premium ammo, and he is using premium ammo. He can get around into the MBT, but the MBT reciprocates, but he's down to a one shot, so the AMBT will go out. Oh, Waffenträger blocked a shell. We blocked a shell from the Waffenträger. 560 blocked. In fact, he also blocked a shot from the Yak Tiger as well. His block damage so far is coming up to 2k, and he's done about 2k of damage himself. That AMX 1357's decided to go down the lake road instead. Pumps around into the Scorpion, who fires back, trying to get a shot in. They can't. All he's showing is the top of his turret, and it's virtually impenetrable. He gets another round into the Waffenträger, and the Waffenträger fires one back, and I think that was an HE round, or at least it was 700 alpha. So I think that Waffenträger is really upset now because he's lost 2 huge amounts of hit points. Okay, Scorpion's repositioning. Even the Arty's firing in. Look at the sheer number of tanks. And our team are now streaming in on the enemy's rear. And they just don't realise what's going on. They're still determined to fight the pass in Valley instead of going town. And look at all these tanks down the other end. They're slowly being torn apart bit by bit. We're only 2 up on the enemy at the moment, but look at the damage that Sly is blocking, a huge amount. You can excuse what he did with the AMX 1357 because that guy shouldn't have been up here. He wouldn't have survived. He wouldn't have blocked any damage at all. His tank is just not capable. The AMBT goes down. Tiger 2 gets a round in, and now he's facing this Lurva and another 705 after having disposed of one of the 705s. He's taken a lot of damage. He's now 1 shot. The enemy is going to get him sooner or later. Oh, he's still blocking rounds from a Caro. And the Lurva goes down. There's only 3 left on the enemy team, including their Caro, their Tiger 2, and who else? The Gonzalo at the other end of the map. He really is doing... Oh, pumps one into the side of the turret, the Caro. But I think that's upset the Caro. And yeah, the Caro really does get one back. But I don't think it really matters. There's only 2 enemy tanks left. There's only 1, and now the Caro's gone. And that's it. The game's over. And Sly did fantastic. Here's the end of battle results, and that was an ace tanker game for SlyMeerkat of Skill in the T-832. He did a fabulous job, even though he did have to kind of remind that AMX 1357 driver he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he wouldn't have survived a battle with those 705s, the Lurva and all the other tanks that are around. He would have been eviscerated, and then his wreck would have been an obstacle to Sly and to Omen in Rage, getting more damage on the enemy. Sly managed to get a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points with damage, 5 for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle. He got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 6. He also got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and as soon as that AMX 1357 was out the way, he started proving that by pumping round after round into the enemy. His win rate in that game, Super Unicum Standard, 5,397. He more than proved his worth, and he did the right thing, although not quite so good pushing your teammate out into the enemy. But I think that AMX needed to get out of there, and he didn't die. He actually went around and he survived the battle, if I recall. We'll check that later. But if we look at the team scores, where is that AMX there? Oh, he didn't survive the battle. He didn't get any damage at all during that game. So probably it was a good thing that he was kicked out of the pass. The highest damage in the game went to SlyMeerkat with 4,704 hit points. And for that, he picked up the high caliber. Second highest damage went to the Progetto 54 of Omen Enraged, and he got 3,555. So the pair of them were working that bottleneck like a champion. When it came to the third highest damage, that went to the Lurva on the enemy team. He managed 2,955 hit points with his 105mm gun, and of course, he's got a turret that bounces rounds quite heavily. And when it came to kills, we can see that the high score was the Type 59 on our team and the Lurva on the enemy team. And in second place, we've got the Progetto 54 of Omen Enraged, the S51 behind us, the Leo, and that's it. That's in joint second place. We can see that SlyMeerkat only got 1 kill in the game, but he just did most damage. It was his teammates that were taking out the enemy tanks that he was eviscerating with his shots. When it came to base XP, he's got that one. 1,550. Second highest was Omen Enraged, 1,303. And the third highest, well, only got 930, and that was the M12. He picked up a Confederate. Omen Enraged, yes, and SlyMeerkat were the only ones in that game who managed to get over 1,000 base. So I think the AMX 1357 driver he should take note of that, because you see, these guys showed you how it's done. And if you'd been at the pass when the enemy tanks started creeping up there, you would have been a wreck in next to no time at all. Anyway, let's have a look at detail. 23 shots fired, 20 direct hits on the enemy, 15 penetrations. He did use a lot of premium ammo. 4,704 hit points of damage, of which 977 were at more than 300 meters. Those were the shots he was making on the Waffenträger, the Scorpion, and all the tanks that were sitting at the back, right at the other end of the valley. 20 hits received from the enemy, only 5 of which actually penetrated, 15 non-penetrations, of course, bouncing off the turret of his armor. The turret's armor on the T-832 is actually quite strong. You're looking at 200, if I remember correctly, 200 and, so check it, 298 millimeters on the front of the turret, 127 on top of the hull. Of course, they weren't seeing the top of the hull because they could only see the turret. 197 on the sides and 152 millimeters on the rear of the turret armor. So you see, the turret is incredibly strong than the T-32. And he was easily able to hold that pass. The only ones he couldn't stop the shells from going through was when the enemy actually caught him in the weakness, when the Carro was managed to pump a round in using a premium round at fairly close range. He had the 705 pumping into his hull, so he couldn't stop those ones. But of course, he was stopping everybody else, and they were literally bouncing rounds off his armor. So he was almost invincible, like a Terminator. Anyway, if we go through the rest of the details, we can see that he also blocked damage of 5,210 hit points. Huge amount, more than he actually did in damage. 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 1 kill, 1,659 hit points of spotting assist in that game. On a premium count, he actually made a profit of this game, 145,429, 145,429 credits profit, even though he used a lot of premium rounds in the game. And I think you could say that's down to the fact that he did use bonuses to bump up his score, but he also, this is a premium tank, so it earns extra credits. So you automatically get that. And boy, did he make this one work. He really did use that turret and the ridgeline to best effect. 2,558 hit experience points out of it as well. It was a masterful battle. The pair of them, between them, they really did tear the enemy apart. There were so many enemy tanks went up the valley. Huge mistake, massive mistake. Never go valley unless you're an Arty or you're working the valley that way. But you never go valley. You only go town if you're in a tank. If you try to go up valley, you're asking for trouble. And basically, those guys, between them, Sly and Omen Enraged, they stopped the enemy from going any further than the bottleneck. There was a pile of wrecks right on the bottleneck area. And Sly just had a ball. He was pumping those rounds in accurately into the enemy. He wasn't getting the kills, but except for that A and BT, but he did get the damage, and that's where it all counted in the end. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.